Hello, hello, hello. Does it work? Okay. Thank you for coming, everyone. Today we're having a talk about free objects and ForA, the amazing space here. And I'm Sven. I'm doing the magazine called Free Objects. You see it here. And the concept is super simple. It's about the free favorite objects of different people. It's random people, but it's also people I was looking up to, but like didn't have like a opportunity to talk to them. And I always go to the person's home or studio, so like the objects are in their natural habitat. And then I ask them to show me their three favorite objects. And then I will take 4 photographs, one portrait and one of each object. And then we have a conversation about why these objects are so important to the people. And for me, like in the process, it was really like the objects are really doors to the people and the stories. And we often see objects and we think like, oh, these materialistic things, but in the end they are also spaces and doors to really the life and the stories of the people. And for me it was super interesting to get to know these people, because often it's like before the interview I'm like, fuck, I don't know this person, like I go to their private space, we never talked before, and like it's always like super interesting to step out the comfort zone and enter someone's space and then getting so personal with someone. And you can have small talk with someone and talk to for like 2 or 3 hours, but you know nothing in the end. But if you ask for three favorite objects, you get like such a deep entrance and like like glance into someone's life. It's crazy how personal it gets. So it all started in university, because I did objects and I did photography, and I wanted to connect those two fields with each other. And I started like asking my friends to show me their objects, and then friends of friends, and then eventually it got published and the first edition. And then I was like, I want to continue, because it was so interesting getting to know the people and like getting to know objects and what objects can be. And now there's the second issue, and it's almost only people I didn't know before. So it's a real big step for me. And I'm today here with amazing free designers to talk about one of their three favorite objects. And I asked them to bring it, and everyone brought it. So I'm really happy. And we're having a little discussion and talk. And hopefully you will see how deep we get into life. Of course, also like what inspires them as designers, but also as just human beings, because that's also interesting. And I feel like we don't have to have such a big description of the person. I would rather have it about the object, and you can see the chairs and the designs later, and it will make sense. But let's keep it simple. And we'll start with Simone Lorusso. Yeah, about his object. I'm really curious.
So, hi everyone, I'm Simone. I'm the founder of Spazio Cenere. The design industry is quite new for me as a design point of view, because I started my career as a photographer and then I moved more into art direction. And now I'm really happy to explore the design as a designer with my partner Michele. And today I have with me the ashtray designed by Ettore Sozzas for Olivetti Synthesis. And I mean, it's quite obvious that everybody knows Olivetti, knows the Valentino that made Olivetti like well known globally, but no one probably know the Synthesis, that was the collection focused on the office furniture that was designed by different artists, different architects, but specifically Sotzas was one of the most interesting one. And the I was obsessed a couple of years ago about Olivetti, because I made like a huge research on their archive in Ivrea. And I love the idea how he like design uh, modular stuff, and we are just talking about 50, 60 years ago. So yeah,
what I find also super interesting, what I find also super interesting, he doesn't smoke.
Yeah.
So we talked before about like maybe you tell us what you use it for.
Yeah. No, it's really weird because when I'm about like friends that obviously smoke, they ask me, "Oh, fantastic! Can I use it?" No, of course no. I have like a cheaper one for the cigarettes. So I usually use it for my key. But again, it's super interesting how, I mean, the object combined to our personal story, like change the how can I say the use exactly, you know. So yeah, I use it for the key, and as you can see, it's really clean inside.
Yeah, I find it also super interesting. Like, you have an object, but you don't use it like it was intended to use, and that's how you rewrite the story of the object. And maybe for him, it was an ashtray. For Simone, it's like completely something else. And yeah, it's really interesting that you rewrite the story of the object. But what material is it?
It's melamine, so resin that was introduced in industrial design in 1940, and this specific collection was designed in 1960.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we move on to Aldana Lorenzo. What object did you bring?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Aldana Lorenzo. Yeah. I'm an architect and a concept designer. I'm from Argentina, but actually right now living in Berlin. And yeah, it was quite funny because I didn't know that I needed to bring an object. But actually, like in my last year, I've been like really picky with objects because I live in Berlin and every 6 months I'm moving to apartment. You know that.
Yeah.
It's a big problem right now. So if I have an object, I need to be really sure that I have a deep connection with it, because then it's me who need to carry the object to one place to another one.
Better be light.
Better be light, yeah. So I was thinking about the object, and suddenly I realized that I was having here this postal and this image that is always with me. And yes, this is my object. Actually, it's a really meaningful photo or like a image. So also I think it was interesting for me to show it to you because you have like this photograph situation and object. So so I feel like it is really I feel really identified with this. And I got it 8 years ago in Buenos Aires. And I was doing like a meditation course. And it, it was a good experience. It was nice. And they were offering this image as a divinity or like this kind of thing. And I bought it. And
How much was it?
no idea, but really cheap. Like really cheap. And so yeah, they were explaining about like, like this kind of connection you can have with this picture. And they were saying like you can ask or you can set some intentions or like, like this kind of way. But what really stayed on my mind that day, it was like they were saying like if you are asking for something, you need to bring something in return, like whatever you want, like flowers or like chocolate or whatever. But what they were saying at the end of the day, you were going to be enjoying the flowers in your living room and you are going to be eating the chocolate. So it's like what really stayed on my mind, like actually this is myself. So what I see here and I really like is really abstract. And in somehow it's like a reflection of myself. So when sometimes I need to ask something or I need to talk, I'm talking to myself. And I feel like it's kind of a mural. So it's like doesn't even is myself here. Also, like could be yourself. It's like even when my friends they are having or they are stressed or something, it's like talk to you. Yeah. So yeah. So I actually have a really deep connection. Like every time that I'm traveling is with me in my passport.
Wow.
And when I'm at home, it's in a really good place. So actually, it's quite funny that I'm showing this because it's really private, but I love it because it's really abstract, and yeah, I like that idea.
Thank you so much for sharing. What I also find super interesting is like if you think of objects and like what are the most precious objects to us, we often would think like it's jewelry or it's something, expensive material, or it has to be something old or like blah blah blah. But what I find fascinating can be also just some piece of plastic. And it really depends how the person charges the object with their own emotions and feelings and memories. And also what I find interesting, what I didn't say before, is that I see objects also as like something from like an architectural perspective, that objects are also spaces. This little card is also a space, but it has no physical boundary. So it can get as big as how many emotions, memories, idea you put into the object. And what I find also super fascinating that you have it. It's also a door to her, but it can be also a big space for her to put like a lot of things inside. And yeah, thank you so much. So we also have here Thibeau. The last name is really hard for me to pronounce. Yeah, wait. And he also brought really interesting camera. One of my favorite objects is also my camera. So that's funny because all of the pictures I shot with one camera. And yeah, I'm curious to hear what the story is behind your camera.
Okay. So my name is Thibeau. I'm an object designer, artist, and my work is around taboos and self-reflection. That's why I always take a camera with me as well. I think we should look at the world in a different way. And with a camera, if you have it with you, you look at the world constantly. So that's why I have this camera today with me. It was not intended to bring this one. I have a whole collection of cameras. But for some reason, this one is today here. So this is my Hasselblad, a very old camera. I found it, I think, a year or two ago. But it was a struggle for me to find it in a way, because I think I had a collection of, let's see, 30 or 40 cameras, and I was very invested to say like, okay, I really want a Hasselblad. How can I do it? So I did like trade in 40 cameras for this one. They're all, yeah, not so special cameras, but like this one was then for me special because it took a long time to collect the 40 cameras and then change it back up. And I think that's the most thing about this camera. I think it's a very good camera as well. I'd say it's one of the best. It's went to space. That's a really cool thing. Yeah, not this one exactly, but the first cameras that went up to space was this one. Yeah, but like they modified it like a lot to have like no reflections, all black. And what is really cool about this object as well, I can pass it through. But if you look through it, you will see a mirrored world. And that's what I really love about it. So if you look through it, if I go left, my camera will go right in the thing inside. So that's really cool. That's also inspiration of one of the objects I made. It's not here right now, but it's a mirror that's has a double reflection like this. So it's like the real reflection of you in a kind of way. But yeah, it's a lot of inspiring things about the camera for me. Yeah.
It's super beautiful. Also, what I said before, like sorry, Maurice, what you just said, that objects are really a door to somewhere. So you have this camera, which has like, like it's a camera. It's not like a design thing, but still it's like the door to your designs or where you get the ideas. But when you said like it helps you like with being like self-reflected, or you said something like this.
So for me, it's what I see a lot of people. Oh, sorry, yeah, I see a lot of people on their phones, and a lot of people when they walk outside, they don't really look around anymore. But for me, if you have a camera with you, you just walk around and looking constantly for, okay, can this be a beautiful picture? Can this be a beautiful picture? So that's why I take a lot of inspiration, like just walking outside, taking a camera with me, and then seeing angles and things, and I'm like, okay, how can I incorporate this in my objects as well? But yeah, all my photos or all my objects I photograph myself as well, because the angles need to be perfect. And yeah, I think photography is a lot of inspiration for my objects. Yeah,
Super interesting.
Yeah.
What I also was curious, because designers, objects, I find it always interesting to ask like a super simple question also. So in the interview in the magazine, we have like for every object there's a short text, but in the end there's also an object where I ask a text where I ask the person, tell me your general thoughts about objects. Like, what do you think about objects? Are you an object person? Are you a collector? So I would really like to know like how you guys think of that. Maybe someone can start.
Yeah. No, I was thinking that I mean, maybe it's obvious, but we bring with us like three analog objects. And if we consider, I mean, like after pandemic moment, we've seen a lot of crypto object, crypto art, no? So I was like wonder of the connection that also we we generate with the crypto art, with crypto object, because it are not like physical. We cannot touch them, but we are seeing so many people, so many article about the people that are like super like interested in create a digital connection with the virtual object. But I think is I'm not really pro in this sense, because um as I told you, I like the idea that the objects in my house, in my room, in my space create like a deeper connection with the lighting, with the people that leave the space. So it's like a sort of magic that we can recreate digitally. And in this sense, I'm really a collector of chairs and sitting. And yeah, this morning I kept a chair that friends from Madrid exhibit, because I love the idea that like we can sit around the table or just like freely in the house and discuss things, talk about art, talk about like the contemporary society, so I like the idea of also this chair as nice, and because we are here, we are sitting like, and we are discussing things,
Yeah, totally. Chairs are super like a conversation piece. That's also like not because you talk of them, but also you sit around the table and you have a conversation. But yeah, what you just said about like the digital world, I feel like it's still, or like it's more and more important that we have objects like with materials we can feel, we want to touch. And I feel like in the future it will like be more and more that we like have certain objects, we want to feel the material, we want to feel the heaviness. Yeah, maybe you can tell us what you think of objects, since you only have like since you're moving around so much.
What I think about objects, I think my relationship with them is, first, I like to have like a deep connection, like emotional connection, or like it reminds me something, like always emotional first. And second one should be functional. Like sometimes I get really annoying when an object is not really making their function. So it's like, yeah, you can be really pretty, but it's like you don't work. It's like,
You're an
so
architect.
I'm an architect too, so everything needs to work well. But but I think it's that I'm not collecting so many objects, not at all. But even I take a lot of time to think and deciding which type of bed I want, like which chairs, and
So you're very considerate.
yeah, everything, yeah. Or even like if I need something, okay, I will buy something, and then I know that I can sell it. Like I'm not collecting this just to have everything, and so many objects. I'm really picky, but yeah, I think always is the motion and connection first, and then should be really functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Thibeau?
Yeah. So I'm the totally opposite. I'm a collector. I collect a lot of things. My whole atelier is full of stuff. I have a second atelier now that is getting full of stuff. But I collect a lot of vintage stuff. I was grown up by vintage design. So I just started collecting because my parents started collecting. But I think for me, an object should always have a story behind it, like a scar. That's also why we call ourselves my family Scar. It's Scarceriaux, so SCAR, Scar. So we think that every object should have a story, a life. That's why I'm totally dressed in secondhand right now. So everything should be considered as precious in a kind of way. I think that's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions or has any thoughts, I'm happy to also be in conversation with all of you. Everyone really shy. But yeah, I thank everyone for being here, and especially for ForA, that we can create a dialogue on design and things. And I really hope you get an idea what I meant with that objects can be really doors to the life. I feel like we got like a really good impression of you as people, but also as designers. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.